I woke up and I decided that I can't take living in this pink bathroom any longer. I have $0 for this budget. I have big plans in my mind for a beautiful long-term design, but that's not feasible right now. And I don't want to live for the next 5 years until we've saved for this bathroom makeover with this pink bathroom. So we're gonna do something about it today.
I absolutely love transforming a room with no budget because I feel it brings out the most creativity. So let's get going on this project, and we're going to start by patching basically everything.
Here's the classic hairband to hold the door that doesn't stay shut otherwise. Yep. Little teeny things are gonna make a big difference in this bathroom. We have all these really outdated fixtures, the seashell shelf, the same fixture for pretty much all the accessories. It's very dirty. The previous owner never cleaned is pretty much how I feel. So we need to do a lot of work here. This has been living on the edge since we moved in. I'm honestly surprised that it hasn't completely fallen off the wall.
I think a lot of times when people look at having to do a new room makeover, they think about what they need to add, but what I start with is what do I need to take away? What's dated, what is just not my style, and what can I remove to make the space better and either replace with an affordable upgrade or just completely keep out altogether.
So many anchors. I'm not sure what could be a better representation of how dirty these walls are.
Over the years, I have switched completely to non-toxic cleaners, and I'm slowly just continuing to make the non-toxic update in my home. But the first step in this space is to clean all the walls, the ceiling, the trim, literally everything.
I need that kind of sprayer. It's so gross. It does literally spray everything.
Even though we've lived here for 2 years and I have cleaned these walls so many times, I still really wanted to make sure that I did a deep clean to get off any mildew, any grime from the shower, any soot, because the previous owner used a wood burner and we have been battling cleaning soot from walls and ceilings since we moved in. And it's really important to get all that off of the walls before painting so that the paint adheres properly. I'm still using a mold killing primer before painting the walls and the ceiling just to do a little extra step since it's an older home. And this will also help the paint to adhere properly, especially in a damp environment like a bathroom. I really don't think that there's anything worse to paint than ceilings, but it was extremely essential in this room specifically. And painting the ceiling, walls, and that bulkhead all the same color is going to help that bulkhead disappear.
Well, this was a little bit of a surprise. I thought that this gallon was shiplap from Magnolia, which I've used in my last house. Turns out it says Silo's White is the color, which I've never used, never sampled, don't know why I bought it. The sales sticker on the top says I bought it in 2023. I don't even know what it came from. So hopefully I like the color white that it is, because shiplap has some kind of gray-green undertones, and so I was expecting that, and I don't know what this is gonna have. I mean, so far so good. It's kind of like a creamier color, which I would prefer over a stark white, so far so good. The colors in this house were my literal worst nightmare colors. This ballerina pink, there was a Barbie hot pink reddish color in the main level everywhere. There was the canary yellow that made me want to cry in the last bathroom. It had neon orange carpet in the office, baby blue carpet that was not a pretty baby blue all over the basement. We've come a long way.
Now, I mentioned how I've been switching over the years to non-toxic cleaning products, and that also goes for my laundry detergent.
Now, this video is sponsored by Earth Breeze, and I have tried out both their fresh scent and the fragrance free, and I really only ever buy fragrance free, but I wanted to also just test this because if I'm going to recommend a product, then I want to have good knowledge on all of the variety that they offer. So I really enjoyed using these. I was skeptical, if I'm going to be completely honest. I've used the same laundry detergent since my kids were little babes because my son has really sensitive skin, and so I had found one that worked for him and never tried another. And so when I had the opportunity to work with Earth Breeze, I said, okay, but they're gonna have to prove it. And they did.
Earth Breeze detergent sheets are free from harsh chemicals, dyes, parabens, phosphates, preservatives. They're so easy to use, and they're eliminating single-use plastic packaging. They have a 100% money-back guarantee, and I actually did the math to see how much they cost per load, and it was significantly lower than the brands that I've used in the past.
Now, this stack is 120 loads worth of laundry detergent, and it dissolves quick. They're extremely lightweight. They're appealing visually for me just to have them out in my laundry room, and they're so easy to just pick up a square and put it right into the washing tub. Now, this isn't really like applicable for me, this point that I'm about to make, because I have a house and I own my own laundry machines. But I was thinking as I was using these, how amazing this would be for someone who has to take their laundry to a laundromat, or if you're in an RV camping or whatever the case may be. They're so lightweight and they're so portable, and you can take, like 4 if you needed to just do 4 loads of laundry. And so I love the convenience of that beyond all the other benefits that they offer. So they're shipped in this recyclable paper pouch, no plastic jug, extremely lightweight. They work for all top or front loader washers. They're also HE compatible for those machines, which most are these days, so that's really important. And they're septic and gray water safe, which we're on a septic system, so that's a must-have for me.
To save 40% off with your subscription, head to my link, linked up for you in the description below.
So one of the things that I really like to do when I'm doing like a no budget makeover, and in my mind, no budget really means $0. It doesn't mean $1,000. It literally means $0 because I haven't saved 1 penny for this project. I just did it on a whim. And so when I am focused on trying to do it for no money, which is not realistic, you do end up having to spend a little bit of money, but in order not to, I usually try to focus on paint because I have so much paint left over from past projects that I can use, and that's free. I try to focus on what do I need to remove from the space, just dated fixtures or dated towel bars, and for a bathroom specifically, and what can I do to take stuff out of the room that is making it feel dated or that I just don't like, which would solve the problem in and of itself. Or I try to think about what is the lowest budget item with the biggest impact that I can bring into the room to completely transform the space. And in a bathroom, that is shower curtains. I think this is like $20, $25, and it's a really beautiful pattern. It has these gorgeous colors in it, which are very cohesive with the rest of my house. They're very much my favorite colors. And so when I found it, I was really excited because I knew that I could pull the whole bathroom together with this one very inexpensive piece. So I had all of this paint left over from past projects, and I'm gonna totally use this as like a paint palette. So I'm gonna do the really nice greens on the trim. I'm gonna do the brown from the branches on the vanity. And then I'm gonna do this pop of blue in a bath mat. And then obviously the whites are gonna be my walls because I have a whole gallon of white paint that was left over from, I don't know, one of the rooms that I painted in the past. And honestly, it's such a small room that I really want the walls to be white anyways. It's the room that I put my makeup on in, the very sparse amount of makeup that I actually use. And so I don't really want it to be a color that's gonna cast any kind of weird colors on my skin. So we're going with white, $25 for this. I got these really nice hooks. These are only $6. They swing open for a three hook. How do you say that? A 3-piece hook? That's not right. It has 3 hooks for $6. And so I actually got 3 of them to have 9 hooks. And what other thing can you get 9 hooks for $18? A yard sale maybe. So that's where I'm starting. Paint, biggest transformer, very affordable when you're looking at it from the perspective of, well, I could rip out the entire bathroom and start fresh, or I could just paint it. And then also just things like, what can I use that's pretty to hide an otherwise out of date shower? My shower tile is very out of date. It's got the little 90s pink floral stuff on it. And rather than ripping it out and replacing with new tile, which would be thousands of dollars, we're just gonna cover it up. And only I will know. And I'm gonna enjoy looking at this beautiful shower curtain, which could also be a really cute tablecloth or regular curtains. Just saying. And that's the plan. So when we were doing all the other renovations and we had no siding on the side of the house and we were already making holes everywhere, I talked to my contractor and I said, what would it take? How much would it cost to take this off-centered window out and shift it away from the wall and give a little bit of breathing room over here? And it was not cost prohibitive to do it for such a small impact. So here it sits, really off-centered, bothers me a little bit every single day. But instead of just being irritated by it, I think what I'm gonna do is paint the trim a nice soft green along with the baseboards to bring some color and some punch into this room since the walls are gonna be white. And instead of it being annoying, I'm hoping that's gonna make it look charming. You know how there's houses that have those little quirks in them that you're like, oh, that's so charming. You think some paint is gonna do that for my window? Worth a try. I really hate painting ceilings, but it's worth it. Eradicating this pink is like a breath of fresh air with every swipe. First coat. There's still a bit of a pinky hue to it, so I hope that I don't need 3 coats. You know those things that you keep and you move from multiple houses, house to house, because someday you might need it and it's not broken, so why throw it away? Finally, probably 10 years later, gonna use this $2 light switch cover. I found this at a flea market years ago. It was $25 because it's damaged, but it was just such a pretty scene. And even though it's in rough shape, I've held onto it all these years and never really had a great place for it. And I figured, you know what, this is a temporary bathroom. I'm gonna put some temporary artwork up because it makes me smile. And what excuse do you need that's better than that? So it's gonna go in the bathroom, which is a fairly unusual place to put artwork, but why not? There's no way that's gonna turn out centered, so. I mean, seriously, how hard a wire on a nail. Here we go. If I get some ticky tape, I think it'll be good. All right, let's talk about what we've done so far, which is just paint the walls. And we've also, I say we, it was me. I'm the only we. I also cleaned the grout with the pink stuff, and that actually worked really well. It worked much better than I expected it to, so I'm gonna definitely use that in the future again. And I've gotten to this point where the walls are a plain white. I did hang like the toilet paper holder and a new towel bar and some hooks. And I have a mirror up that is much, much, much too small for this space, but it's all that I had on hand. It was just a mirror that was in storage that I already owned. And again, I'm trying to go low budget on this. So I would like to find a larger mirror, maybe an antique mirror. I've been searching Facebook Marketplace and garage sale sites for just the right thing, which when you already have an idea of what the right thing is in your mind and then you can't find it in reality, it's a little frustrating. But that is where patience comes in home remodeling, home makeovers, just basic home ownership, or even renting, where you just have to be patient enough to slowly build over time to get exactly what you want and be happy with like just having a mirror so that I can do my makeup and such in the meantime. So we've gotten this far, and what I would say is it's already 100% improved from the ballerina pink that was on the walls before, but it could still be better for still no additional cost by painting the existing vanity, as well as popping a color onto the trim. Now, I'm currently debating, do I just paint the trim and this little pony wall to give it some contrast, or do I do all of the baseboards and all of the door casing as well? And the only reason that I hesitate to do all of it is just because it's a lot more work. And this is a temporary solution, so I don't know exactly how much work I want to put into this space. When the white baseboards, they're fine. They're basic and they're plain, but they're also fine. So we'll see what happens. But right now, we're gonna make the vanity look better, and we're gonna make that little window pop.
Now, rather than share all of the painting tips that I have, I am going to link up for you my DIY dream home guide that I have actually created, and it shares how to paint literally anything. I see a lot of people making really big mistakes painting cabinetry specifically, and that's a big focus in my guide. So if you are interested in more tutorial style information, check that out in the description. I will give just a couple of quick tips. Now, when you're painting contrasting trim, I painted a coat of the primer directly over the taped portion of the window so that any bleed through comes through as that white primer, which will stick to a vinyl window. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with a lot of bleed through with tape connecting to vinyl, if that is the type of window that you have. And then when you paint over it with your contrasting color, it doesn't bleed through. It's a very crisp, beautiful line. Now, one challenge that I ran into every single time I started to paint a new section of this bathroom was that the previous owner used silicone instead of paintable caulk in areas that they should have used paintable caulk. Silicone is used for areas that are going to have water contact constantly. This area that doesn't see any water contact and is a paintable surface should have had caulk instead of silicone. You cannot paint over silicone, so you have to prime over that with a high adhesion primer or recaulk it before painting.
I learned on my last bathroom makeover how to replace a faucet, and I knew the moment that I did it that it was a big mistake, because I would forevermore no longer have an excuse for not replacing them or for waiting for someone else to do it, because I know how now. Don't learn skills that you don't want to do. But here we go. At one time, this was really gorgeous. I actually do still like this part. I don't like this part, and this is uncleanable. The finish is worn off, so it'll be a big upgrade.
I was really excited to be able to replace this faucet. It hasn't had a stopper since that fell apart about a year and a half ago. And so I've dropped so many things down and had to open the trap and get it out. And this is one of those things that I could have replaced a while ago and just never did because it's really, really not a fun job.
I hate doing this part. Taking off the old faucet is the worst part because it's all corroded. It was connected 30, 40 years ago. Who knows? There's still water in this? This hasn't been installed for like a year. Oh my goodness. This was the faucet that was in our downstairs bathroom originally. And we replaced it with the Delta faucets that I love, but these were brand new, so obviously I wasn't gonna throw them away or sell them. I knew I could use them up here in these bathrooms eventually when we redid them, so here I am. These newer faucets are so much easier to assemble. They're just all like quick connects and super easy. I say super easy, hold on. If I had monkey arms, it'd be super easy. Oh, I hate replacing faucets so much. I'm tired. I've had nothing but gloomy days recently, and so I've been trying to capture the true lighting in this room without turning the lights on, because as soon as you turn the lights on, it casts kind of that yellowy glow, and I wanted you to see the real colors of this room, and the weather is just not cooperating. So let's recap what I did in this space, because it was very, very simple. I spent a total of $124, and that went to the shower curtain, new hooks, new toilet paper holder, new towel holder, and new mirror. Oh, I also bought hardware, so I guess that would be $150 total then. $150 total, completely transformed the entire look of the room. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Obviously, if I were to design a brand new bathroom, it would look nothing like this. I would have ripped out the entire vanity. I would have ripped out the bulkhead and raised that to the ceiling. I would have put vanity lights up here that are beautiful. I would have done a new shower, tile surround. I probably would have taken out this pony wall and made it a standalone vanity. I would have redone the closet. But all of those things are very much wish list items. They're very much like the ideal. If I were building a home, I would have done it this way. Or once we have saved up budget to redo this bathroom, perhaps I will implement some of those things. But as far as functionality goes, there's a lot that you can do with an existing space. Even though the vanity before was very dated and very gross, all it needed for a visual upgrade is a coat of paint and some new hardware. And while I would actually really love double sinks in this bathroom for my daughter and I to get ready at the same time, at least this sink does have open counter space, and I was able to find a large enough mirror to span the whole width so that two people can be getting ready at the same time. Anyways, just sharing the sink. Simple, easy upgrade. Now, I mentioned that I was looking for an antique mirror, and my mother-in-law actually texted me and said, hey, I found a big mirror at a garage sale. Do you like it? Do you want me to pick it up? And it was only $10 for a 3x4 foot mirror that has this beautiful gold and wood frame on it, and it actually fits the look that I was going for, kind of a little vintagey cottage vibe in this space perfectly. It was a little kiss from heaven. So while we're going to continue to save long-term for an actual bathroom upgrade, The Vanity is in need of an upgrade as far as the construction of it goes. It's good for now. It's good for now. It was an improvement for now. Now I can walk into the room and not like cringe and get tense because of the visual appearance of it. Updating very, very simple things like paint, hardware, and mirrors or towel bars, whatnot. Those simple replaceable items goes so far if you can't do a full bathroom remodel.
Now I still have some things to do. I need to press the shower curtain, get those wrinkles out. I did replace the faucet with a faucet that I had in storage from a past project that was being unused, so that was a free addition. And then all the paint that I had, I already owned. I'm gonna link up all of the paint colors and the products that I used in the description for you in case you are interested in shopping the pieces that are actually still available and not an antique. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing how $150 can completely change a space. I will see you next week.